Okay, hello everybody. My name is Brian from DatatoLeads, Avocadata Technologies, and we were going to start this web series of how you can make $10,000 in 30 days simply selling data. Um, we're coming from a point of experience. Let me tell you a little bit about us. We got started by getting really good data and leads, giving away Go High Level for free, and we were able to generate $300,000 in sales in the first year of 2023 because we offered the same thing everyone else offered with Go High Level, with the exception that we marketed this as free. That, okay, if you want to use an agency, a lot of people were selling it for the websites, they were selling it for their reputation, they were selling it for, you name it, any of the countless features and automations that Go High Level offers. The way we approached it was, we'll give you these services and you pay us $4.99 a month, and you get the data monthly in combination with the normal services that previously existed. So for over a year, we did not have the system we built as of today. It was all done manually, going into servers, going into Python, or writing Python in the servers, basically making sure when someone said they wanted data, we got it to them. We didn't have this apparatus in here yet. So for those of you that have a Go High Level, you can go into your agency level and you will be able to install any of our three apps. One's targeted towards businesses, one is strictly targeted for insurance, and one is more broad, which is the one we're using right now, Avocadata. So we can see in the account, we have all these different options right here. So what I wanted to get started with was not how to use the system, but ways that you can make $10,000 every 30 days or less using the system. So what makes this work is the combination of three things. A front end to let any average insurance agent, solar agent, marketing company filter the data they want and download it without having to have a technician manually do all this work. So when we did this business, we sold exclusively to health insurance agents and business lending companies and solar and roofing companies, because we were able to offer what we had at a really good price, which was about 1 penny each. So with this types of data, you were able to find different types of companies. You might be in call centers or paid ads and whatnot, and you would be able to upsell data to them and leads to them. The way we did it was mainly focusing on these three industries. Solar, we'll put solar in here, but solar is a lot more difficult because, in my opinion, because it's not a necessity. Health insurance is a necessity. A roof is a necessity if you own the home. And money, capital, is always necessary for businesses. So the logic that I have always found worked best on how to make, if I had to make payroll, I would figure out a way to make a promotion to make $30,000-$40,000 in the month to make payroll. And that's what the intention of this series is going to be able to express and show the countless different ways that you can be creative with making money. I didn't get into this knowing it. I got into it finding what people were asking and getting it done and finding out a way to make it repetitive. So here's some overall tips to get started. So we're going to go on with health insurance as an example, and we'll work with businesses for the health insurance. So health insurance, there's two different time periods: special enrollment and open enrollment. Without getting too technical, certain people can buy health insurance at any point in time in the year, not just in November. One of those categories that does exceptionally well in the U65 space is business owners. Typically, business owners that may have a few employees in the company, small company. The business owner typically is not a W-2. And that's important because that makes them eligible to get U65 insurance, a higher end premium coverage. Now, let's do like an example for that. So let's go off and say you have a client who sells health insurance in the state of Florida. And their ideal client would be a business owner. So we have the ability to get that insurance agent exactly what they're asking for. Most insurance agents want a cell phone. So we'll make sure to flip this switch right here so that every single lead that my insurance client receives from me will have a cell phone. Now, the second thing that a client would be interested in is an age. So the rule is the same. It's a formula. You're under 65, you don't have health care, and you're a 1099, you're eligible for this particular health care that a lot of people sell. If you're 67, it wouldn't work. You're now eligible for Medicare. And Medicare is another subject we'll talk about in another series of this webinar. So given that the rule also is 26 or older. So I usually like to do a range between, usually over 30. Typically, I always just do that. Maybe because I'm only 29. So, employee count, right? If you were doing group coverage, it would make sense to have more employees. I mean, some people specialize in different types of policy sales. So if you're trying to get a big fish that might have 335 employees, so right here's the employee column. Given that's the case, you may convince your insurance client, hey, listen, this is a great market. Let's go do 30 to 63 and let's go do over 100 employees. Let's go see what we get here. Because you know that you want to sell group health insurance policies. So there's 31,000 people in here. And as you see, we flip the cell phone switch. So when we look all the way over, your client will have a cell phone for everybody. Just like that. And the same thing applies here. You can flip the switch for email. Not too many people I know do email right now because it's more difficult to do. But now we have a perfect list of prospects that a health insurance agent can sell to. Now, if your agent is interested in smaller companies, a trick to do is just limit it to 5 employees max. And that's also indicate that we would like to be in Florida. We hit our search button again. We refilter everything. We go back up to 155,000 businesses in Florida, less than 5 reported employees, with the owners between 30 and 63. Maybe you have an idea, maybe a health insurance agent comes along and says, hey, I kind of want families with kids. Using some logic, we can go off and say, okay, well, over 30 or over 26, they're eligible for health coverage. So let's do the ages between 30 and maybe 45. And now you're making a more concise audience that you can use for your clients. Now, one thing I want to point out, if you want to sell data leads, make $10,000 a month, you have to find the right type of client. And what I mean by that, it's not just about the industry, but it's also about your client's mentality. Some people, I would say solar people are the most guilty, so I'm sorry, but a lot of them expect life to be easy. Get a phone number, call them, I want solar. Health insurance agents, more times than not, are used to this type of engagement. Being able to build an audience that say, I want to target truckers, or I want to target real estate agents because I've been closing policies left and right for real estate agents. Whatever the case is, I would say they're a bit more intuitive, health insurance agents, to sell them leads and data, because when they get into learning health insurance, they weren't told it's easy like solar sales, where you just go to Dallas, Texas, knock some doors, call some numbers, you'll get deals. So you'll hear me say that a lot in this series, but there is after doing this for 3 years and having over 2,000 clients, there is a clear distinction between those two demographics of salespeople. Now, going forward, we have figured out ways to solve these competency issues where instead of giving someone full access to this, right? So let's use this as an example in real time. You want to learn how to sell data and leads and make money. And our whole system is a white label. So you, as the white label agency, have the ability to pre-make these lists. So what do we have here? Cell phone, middle age, Florida. So I'll go off and do the same thing. Florida business owners with children, 0 to 18. We are also adding additional filters so that you can reference this point to the various different other demographic points we have. But for purposes of showing you how you can make your clients' lives easier, basically it's the same exact search that you see here. We're going to do 5 or less employees, cell phone only, search. There's 49,000 leads. By creating this list, you now have the ability to keep your clients in this box. So they are not gonna play around and do other things. So we have the ability to remove that entire feature where they don't have this search. And I can show you that at another video when I log in to that account to show you how you can change up the whole UI all on your own. If you saw any of the previous videos, you'll see how we built this in a matter of a couple of hours. So that's kind of what we're going to do with this white label data commerce agency, that you will be able to have full customization like this. So now we see there's leads insurance. So this data does exist. I find it's sometimes more difficult to sell because you're now crossing the line where people are like, oh, this person wants health insurance. That is not true. They did, at some point in the past, opt in with consent for health insurance. What we guarantee is they were interested in health insurance over 1 year ago. They may have forgotten. Their number might have changed. But if they didn't die and they're still under the age of 65, they have historical of intent of purchasing this type of coverage. So a lot of people are, in terms of new sales agents, are like, I want real-time leads. I want fresh leads. I want less than 3 days old. And I tell them what they don't like to hear, where if you think you're going to find this for the price you're looking for, someone will sell it to you, but you're going to get scammed. That's this world. You ask enough people for what you're looking for, someone is going to take your money eventually and tell you they're giving you what you're looking for. But it's our job to put people in the check and understand, if you're looking for someone to pay money and it's real time, there is a supply and a demand aspect that exists called live transfers, but it's all done on a bidding system. So there is no ambiguity with what's the price. So the way that we market this is, these were re-enriched aged health insurance leads. So people here over a year old, which implies they're not compliant. So we're not saying these are compliant. We're saying this is what they are, and this is what we did with it. And in this case, we know that this person with this name, this gender, wanted health insurance at this point in time. And you'll see that this says August. It says it, but in our fine print, we still say over 1 year, because it just makes life a lot easier when you're keeping people's expectations very low. And in this industry, people are not used to being impressed. Never are they impressed. But if you keep them under promised and then you deliver, it works great. So all of this information gets re-enriched. So what we do exceptionally well is helping people get the right information. So how can you make money? One of the best things I found is not being the guy that necessarily sells the leads, being the guy that sells the enrichment, because this is a very true statement. If you give me aged insurance leads that were yours, and they were good at one point, meaning the information on that sheet was accurate when you originally had it. If you were to give me that sheet to enrich, to update the numbers, there's a good chance you're going to still make a lot of money on that sheet, because the original input I put into my programs that I built to get the new information is only as good as what the input was. So if you give me a phone number that did not go to who it said it did to 2 years ago, my output will not be right because your input was never right. So it's giving people options is one of the best things in this industry. Do you want to buy data? Do you want to buy live transfers? Or would you, or you know what? You don't have to buy our stuff. What stuff do you have that's good? Make people think and gear them in a direction of what they should be doing. Because this whole business in selling data and leads, it's about trust. And one thing that I have found that works the absolute best when selling is to expose all the issues that exist and why we're doing it the way we are. So tying back into how we make money, with our white label, you're paying 1/10 of 1 penny. We did $300,000 selling at an average of 7 cents. So given that, with this price point, you don't have to sell it for 7. You just have to sell it for more than 1 penny. This is how we made our money in the very beginning. But because of the infrastructure we built, we dropped the price even further to give all this room to all these other agents and businesses, brokers, marketing companies, SaaS companies, basically giving them the blueprint. The only reason I was able to build this entire software from scratch is because of my use of my grassroots route of spending $6,000 in 1 year on Go High Level. This didn't exist when I was doing what I was doing. When I made the 300,000, we would communicate with people through forums inside of Go High Level. That became unmanageable when you had people saying, "Oh, well, I only want insurance agents, or I'm sorry, I only want business owners that are," wants to load, let's just say 30 to 35. And let's do something very specific. Industry NAICS code for, let's say, lumberyard. Something very, very, very niche that not the average Joe wants. So we go look this up, and we'll see if there's even any in here. There's 125. There are people who want this stuff. But with the old way we did it, it was not possible to make money on deals like this. We made the money we made charging a minimum of $1,000 per month. We charged $1,000 per month. We provided you with maybe 10,000 contacts, and we gave you your account for free, where you were able to make a website, landing page, and do all the stuff that everyone sells Go High Level as. We sold the data as the product, and Go High Level was included. And that's the reason why this system exists. So our goal with this system is to basically, sounds cliche, but make the same type of ability to offer the opportunities to people. And I like the idea of making people successful. And it's set up that way. So final thing I'll add to this series, or this video of the series, before we wrap it up and we'll go into roofing next, is you have the full ability to basically create the funnel and dictate your vision of how to sell without training. Because if you're confining, let's say, solar leads or insurance, just like we did, there's a lot less training you have to do. You don't have to explain the filters. You just explain click button 1, click button 2. This is your price, 5 cents each, and you make money. So with the white label, you do have the ability to make all your own pricing. And we are adding in on the $299 account, or the basic accounts, that you will also be able to sell these leads too. So right now we charge 1 penny a lead, $30,300. These lower accounts like this are being set up where if you save your list and 6 months later you're still subscribed, you can sell this list through your system. You can take credit card, you can take PayPal. That's going to be coming out in about a month. So we're really creating every opportunity for people to start making money with the data. So that will wrap up this segment of the video. I'll post another one pretty soon. And check the link in the description. Subscribe. Thank you. And take it easy.